most recently had a judicatory hearing, and they had found that I was unfit, or not unfit, but it was a neglect, and
This is attorney Vince Davis, and this is The Secret, To Fight CPS Win, and I'm joined today by our very special guest, Jennifer Ani, who's an attorney, who's an expert in CPS defense law. Jennifer, we're going to take another call right now. We're going to talk to Lisa in Colorado. Lisa, did you have a story to tell or a question to ask? Lisa, are you there?
Hi.
Hi, did you have a story to tell or a question to ask?
I actually have a question to ask.
Go ahead.
And it is to your associate mostly. I have a daughter who was removed several months ago, and I most recently had a judicatory hearing, and they had found that I was unfit, or not unfit, but it was a neglect, and you could, I don't remember the name of the dependency and neglect. Mm-hmm. And so my concern is, when the information at the trial was not accurate, where can I go, or what is the next step?
Okay, remember, we're California attorneys, so we're not sure exactly what you're doing in Colorado, other than I would say make sure you talk to a Colorado attorney. But Jennifer, assuming she was in Colorado, what would she do? Assuming she was in California.
I understand, yeah. Well, so what was the fact? Let me ask one question. What was the factual basis for the finding of neglect? Was it from substance abuse, physical abuse, dirty house? What generally was it?
It was actually a sexual abuse case for my child, who was 2 to 5 years old, and I had tried to report it the best way that I could because of the language from a 2-year-old, and then also doing the potty training and other things. And I did the best, and I reported it. I did everything I felt I was supposed to, and that was it. And now they're saying that I have a mental health disorder, which I do not. The person that
are you being offered reunification services?
None. I have not. They're barely at a treatment plan right now, which I have my own therapist and looking into a psychiatrist. I did testing to counter what they had said, and still my daughter has not come back. And they did a 72-hour hold that again was false. And it's very concerning because I believe it's mostly a racial issue.
Okay. So, I mean, there's a lot to unpack here. Sex abuse cases are unique, and I don't know if we should go into it here, but I really need to know exactly what the allegations are and how you are alleged to have neglected your child such that sex abuse occurred. This is in California anyway. This area is determined mostly by case law, and in as far as what is reasonable for a parent to do under circumstances. So, for example, where parents of I think it was 2-year-old child left the child in the care of a babysitter, went to the store, came back to find that babysitter sexually abusing the child. The court found those parents were not negligent because obviously they immediately took action, and that they couldn't have known that the sex abuse is going to occur, that no one could have known that. It's not something that you expect. So, and the case law is all over the charts, but that's one case. So without knowing more about it, I don't really know how to answer your question right now. I think that these are very tough cases, and it sounds like your attorney, you're not happy with your attorney's performance. Is that fair to say?
Well, I live in a very small town, so the attorney is great, but the challenge is the CPS people as well as the county attorney, they all work very close together. And
right.
It seems like it's a us versus them, which just does not work.
So I think your question was, what do you do about jurisdictional findings that you believe were based upon false information? Is that accurate?
Yes, with it's truth mixed with false.
So, and you had a jurisdiction trial. Have you finished disposition yet?
No.
Okay, so the first time a parent is able to appeal what they feel or believe to be a wrongful finding by the court would be at the disposition, after the disposition hearing. The jurisdiction findings are not subject to appeal at the time that they occur. So without knowing more, I would think that is what you would have your attorney gear for. It's good to know that you think that your attorney is doing a great job. They should be able to get some traction for you if that's the case. Is it?
Well, the first thing I do say is you got to appeal. You have to talk to one of your local attorneys there in that state and talk to them, him or her, about appealing the matter. That's generally how you aggrieve yourself or seek a remedy when you believe the court has made a wrong decision.
Mm-hmm.
Has anybody talked to you about appealing?
No.
Okay. Well, the attorney that you have, it sounds like you have a good relationship with him or her. You should talk to them about, the appellate process.
Okay.
Because I'm sure, like any other state, there are time limits on when you can file the appeal, and you don't want to miss that time limit, because if you're like California, generally if you miss the time for appeal, that's it. It's over, done with, and you can't do anything else. I mean, there's very little forgiveness. So that's what I would do. I would definitely talk to the attorney about appealing.
Okay. I will do that.
Okay.
All right.
Lisa, did you have any other questions for us?
2 minutes.
No, it's basically one step at a time. I probably will be calling again in the future when I reach the next step.
Well,
I appreciate both of your time.
Well, Lisa, thank you for calling. Thank you for listening all the way in Colorado. And, in about 4 to 6 weeks, call us back and let the audience know what happened, okay?
Great, I will.
Okay.
Have a good day.
Thank you. Miss Ani,
Yes.
Do you do a lot of appellate work or writ work? Or have you?
Well, so in California, writs from the hearing where reunification services are terminated are generally the responsibility of the trial attorney, and I certainly have done a fair share of those. And that's important, because if you don't writ the finding that services should be terminated, it does cut down some of the options you might have later on appeal. I've done a number of those. I am doing an appeal now through our office, independency, and that is the extent of my appellate work.
Very good.
Although they are very formulaic for sure, but I'm definitely better at writs, or more experience with writs than appeals.
All right. The engineer is telling me we have to move into our next break. So this is The Secret, How to Fight CPS and Win. And when we come back, we'll be taking a call from Charlotte from California. So stand by, Charlotte. This is The Secret, How to Fight CPS and Win, and we'll be right back after these messages.